Welcome to another spooky campfire story. Created with AI assistance. So get cozy. Remember, that tingle you feel on the back of your neck, maybe it's not just a chill breeze.
The crisp air of the north enveloped us as we set up camp for our final college adventure. Laughter echoed through the trees as we shared stories around the flickering campfire. Little did we know, our decision to embark on this journey would lead us into the clutches of unspeakable horror. As darkness fell, the laughter and lightheartedness faded, replaced by the eerie silence of the forest. The cracking and popping of the fire seemed deafening against the backdrop of stillness. We exchanged uneasy glances as the hair on the backs of our necks stood up, though none of us would admit the creeping sense that we were being watched. Just then, a blood-curdling screech pierced through the night. We gasped and huddled closer together, peering out into the thick blackness surrounding our camp. The shriek came again, closer this time. It didn't sound like any animal we had ever heard. My heart pounded as I reached slowly for the hatchet lying near the fire, hoping I wouldn't need to use it. We all jumped as a third cry echoed from the wilderness, closer still. Something was out there in the darkness, something sinister, and it had found us. The noises grew louder and more frequent, impossible to ignore. Low rumbles, high-pitched cries, and disturbing crunches assaulted us from all directions. I scanned the tree line with my flashlight but couldn't locate the sources. My friends huddled close to the dying fire, our sole protection against the pitch-black night. "Guys, I think we should pack up and start heading back," Josh said, a quiver in his voice. As we hastily crammed our gear into our packs, a fetid smell wafted into camp, gagging us. The horses whinnied nervously, straining against their ties. Then the noises stopped abruptly. The silence was deafening. We froze, exchanging terrified glances. Suddenly, a shrill scream shattered the stillness, so close it was inside our camp. Kelly's scream. We spun around to see her flying backwards, arms and legs flailing like she was being dragged away from us. I caught a glimpse of a hairy, clawed hand wrapped around her ankle just before she disappeared into the darkness. One by one, my friends met a gruesome fate at the hands of a malevolent force, the Skinwalker, their once lively bodies transformed into grotesque displays, warning me of the impending doom that awaited. The fear escalated as I realized the monster had skinned my boyfriend alive, using his form as a disguise. A wave of horror and adrenaline crashed over me as the creature wearing Tyler's skin emerged from the shadows, blood dripping down its arms. I stumbled backward, bile rising in my throat, as the monster slowly peeled back a flap of Tyler's face to reveal amber eyes devoid of humanity. It let out a gurgling laugh. "Brittany," it croaked, in a twisted approximation of Tyler's warm voice. Revulsion shot through me. I shook my head mutely, unable to accept that just hours ago, Tyler and I had cuddled by the campfire. The Skinwalker took another lurching step towards me, its lips stretching Tyler's mouth into an eerie, too-wide grin. It raised a bloody silver knife in one borrowed hand. "It's your turn now, my sweet," it rasped wetly. I forced strength into my trembling limbs. No way was this fiend wearing my boyfriend's skin taking me without a fight. I wrapped my fingers around my nearby hatchet and swung it upwards with a guttural cry. An awful squeal rang out as the weapon sunk into flesh. My stomach turned at the thought some small part was still Tyler's. The night reached its climax when the Skinwalker, wearing the familiar face of my love, attacked. The once comforting gaze now harbored malevolence. Heart pounding, I had no choice but to defend myself. In the darkness, I fought to survive, my every move accompanied by the agonizing realization that I was destroying the very essence of my deepest connection. The aftermath left me haunted, physically and emotionally scarred. The memories of that fateful week lingered, casting a perpetual shadow over my existence. Sleep became a battlefield where dreams morphed into vivid nightmares, each one replaying the horror of losing my friends and the love of my life. I returned from the woods a hollow shell, my spirit broken from witnessing such depravity and suffering. The nights still echo with screams when I manage fitful sleep. Some days I wish I had perished too, rather than enduring this lingering torture. The police never located any trace of my friend's remains, instead determining some wild animal attacked our campsite. I know the true fiend still lurks within that forest, wearing Tyler's skin as a mask. I alone carry the burden of truth. No one would believe. They call me the lone survivor, but I feel half alive at most. Each morning I stare numbly out my window, overlooking the pines in the distance. Sometimes I think I detect a slim, human-like figure standing unnaturally still among the trees, watching me. A shudder grips my heart. There are no words for the malignant creatures that haunt the boundary between life and nightmare. I fear one has attached itself to me, patiently waiting to finish what it started. 5 months have passed, yet the pain remains as fresh as the day the skinwalker shattered our lives. The agony of taking the life I cherished weighs heavily on my soul. Every night, as I close my eyes, the visage of Travis, mangled and unrecognizable, haunts my dreams. The North, once a place of adventure, now stands as a grim reminder of the irrevocable price we paid for our ill-fated decision. Part of me still searches for meaning amidst the senseless violence we endured those nights under the stars. What malicious forces preyed upon our innocence and camaraderie? Why twist my love into an instrument of terror? I will never comprehend the unfathomable evil that destroyed 10 bright lives and destinies. As night falls, the forest seems to hold its breath, awaiting my next move in this sick game. But I am tired. So tired. When I sleep, I pray my spirit finds Travis and the others in some peaceful place far from the hungry darkness, and that this time, my dreams offer an escape into the light instead of horror. I glance up at the encroaching twilight with a sense of resigned doom. The pines have crept steadily closer to my window over time, or perhaps my mind plays tricks in its trauma. Soon enough, their dark boughs will envelop this house entirely, sealing my grim fate. Am I still lost in the woods, wandering endlessly with grief as my companion? But now I carry a torch to light the way, shielding me from the hungry shadows. Its fire reminds me that even a soul flicker in the darkness can guide you home. Where nightmares once ruled, hope now flickers. And someday soon, the light will blaze again. And so I plod onward through the pain, embracing any pinprick of light piercing my shattered world. A kind word from a stranger, warm sunlight on my face. Tiny sparks to fan the flames of healing.
The end. If you enjoyed this spooky story, please like, subscribe for another spooky campfire story, and please leave a comment.